If it's Monday night, that only means one thing. It's time for an all-new The RCWR Show live right here on YouTube for this Monday night, August 25th, 2014. Just a couple of days away from the Labor Day holiday. I know some of you all are pretty amped up for that. Some of you are getting ready to go on a 3, maybe a whole week, or maybe a 2-week vacation, a well-deserved one at that. I know I'm definitely gearing up over here at my respected end. Welcome to those of you. Here we are again. We're back. God, seems like we haven't done a show for you guys in a good minute, as because of the new schedule that went into effect last week, we're pretty much now doing 3 consecutive shows back to back for you guys. And then we're kind of just treating the weekend edition of the RCWR show on a week-to-week basis. But at the bare minimum, we'll try to see if we can give you guys at least 1, maybe 2 out of the month and everything. But feels back to be back, man, talking wrestling with you guys. I'm pretty charged up. I'm revitalized. I'm ready to do this. Now, look, I want you guys to get involved. You can interact with us a number of ways. Post those comments right down below. Let me know what you had thought about tonight's episode of WWE Raw. I actually had got a head start seeing what some of you all had to say with regards to tonight's show. And I'm definitely feeling a lot of the points that you all are making off the break. Definitely about the crowd. Chi Love, I agree with you 100%. The crowd, for a majority of the night, it definitely did feel a little bit silent. It definitely made the 3 hours a little bit hard to watch. That's why it's always good to sometimes just have the TV be on mute and maybe have some music playing in the background. If anything, maybe have closed captioning on. If you guys don't mind closed captioning, read what's going on, depending on who your cable satellite provider is. When you put it on closed caption, some of them, they actually do a pretty good job in letting you catch up on what all it is that you're not hearing. For those of you that are not hearing impaired, that's what I do majority of the times. You can also interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show. I am flying solo for this respected episode. No Titus Machiavelli. Titus Machiavelli is away. He is on a business trip, but he will be back next week. For those of you that are following Titus on Twitter at Evil Genius Titus, you already know this. But for those of you that maybe don't, and you don't follow him on Twitter or Facebook, yes, no Titus Machiavelli today. I know some of you guys, you kind of like it when it's a one-man show, because sometimes we kind of make it be a little bit more shorter. I'm able to kind of bring up some other points, but I must admit, man, I miss my buddy Titus. That's my bro, man. I miss having my bro, especially talking about tonight's episode here, because I definitely want to pick his brain on a lot of the things that have went down tonight. But I'm going to try to hold the fort down. I'm going to try to represent not only myself, but I'm also going to try to, you know, kind of represent him a little bit over here, all right? And you guys can definitely pick up where Titus left off. We'll definitely do a good job in getting you guys part of this. So post those comments down below. Right before we dive into this, I want to just let you guys know something really, really cool. All right, those of you that love shoot DVDs and all that, I got some pretty cool news for you guys. Now, look, you all may recall, those of you that are longtime listeners, followers, fans, you all know how I had interviewed Brodus Clay a little while back. And if you guys had missed it, you can actually catch it right here on our channel. It's in the guest exclusive section playlist, all right? Check it out. It was a really great, fun, and insightful interview that we did with Brodus. It was actually his first interview that he gave to us. And you actually hear him say that in his own words. He actually does confirm that. It was the first interview that he gave since his WWE release. We hit a lot of points in that interview that it was so funny seeing a lot of the shows that he had appeared on afterwards, and they were basically re-asking the same question. There was actually one show that almost verbatim went like over the same type of questions that I had went over. I just was like amazed at the no form of originality that came from these guys trying to ask their own unique questions, ask questions that haven't been asked. But I bring up Brodus Clay for a reason, is because Brodus Clay, he had sat down and he did not one but 2 shoot interviews. He did one with Kayfabe Commentaries, and he also did one with RF Video. Now, it looks like the way things are appearing, it looks like Kayfabe is striking first by releasing their interview with Brodus Clay. It's under their You Shoot series. If you go to Kayfabe Commentaries website right now, and it's been on there like all day, all right, you actually see yours truly plastered on the website under the You Shoot banner with Brodus Clay and all that, and there's a reason for that. I actually make a little bit of a cameo on this DVD. Now, you may see me twice. I'm hoping you see me more than once, but I should be appearing on there twice with some really good questions some of you may get a chuckle out of. So if you're a big fan of Brodus Clay, you're a big fan of our show, obviously you are, because you come check us out every single week, so obviously there's some part of you that definitely loves what we're doing over here. You got a little bit of money to spare, whether it's anywhere between $15 to $30. Go on to the website. I actually posted the link down below in the comment section. I'll actually try to make sure I put this link in the episode description as soon as we get off the air. I couldn't do it as we were getting ready to go live, but it is in the comment section. So go check it out and grab it. I'm telling you guys, definitely won't be disappointed. I love the great work that Kayfabe Commentaries does over there. And heads up, they have a signature/limited edition copy that's available. It's limited to only 30. They only made 30 copies. I definitely had grabbed one of those. I don't know what the count is right now, but if you're lucky, you might be able to go grab that. That's for $30 after taxes. You're talking about maybe 33 and some change. So if you feel like grabbing a signature limited edition, definitely go out there and go for it. But if you want to go a little less, you just want the standard, or you've got the computer space on your desktop, laptop, you can definitely check out the on-demand stream and do it that way, save yourself even more money. But check it out, man. Some good stuff. I got my copy on the way. That is going to be something I'll be reviewing for you guys at a later date. And I'm pretty pumped up for that, because you know how RF Video is sometimes, man. RF Video, when they interview somebody, it's like 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. You need to pack yourself a couple of lunches and some snacks, because you ain't going nowhere for a while, especially if it's on point like that. So it's kind of nice that we got Kayfabe doing theirs first. All right, so you had to get that plug out the way. Also, I got to thank those of you that took the time out to donate to WWE legend Kamala. As we told you last week, the WWE legend, he is just in a world of hurt right now. He has been battling declining health. He's also been battling severe diabetes. It definitely hits close to home for me. I actually had lost my grandpa to diabetes, type 2 diabetes it was. And diabetes is no joke, man, and the diabetes is just kicking Kamala's ass really bad, so much so he actually had both of his legs amputated. He actually, along with his manager, or former manager, had started up a Kickstarter campaign, and it looks like Kamala is going to be putting the finishing touches on an autobiography that he's been doing off and on past couple of years. It's about 300 plus pages long. It has about 125 photographs, black and white, color. It has great forwards, great little snippets from Jim Ross, Cowboy Bill Watts. Let me see, who else is in there? I think Booker T. It's a great list of who's who. Jake the Snake Roberts. A lot of people have little excerpts that they say with regards to Kamala, and you can donate as little as like $5 going up, and it looks like right now he's got about, last we checked, about a little over $8,000, and his goal was to raise $12,000, so they're almost there. Those of you that donated, thank you guys so much. Those of you that have not donated, you can still go back in there, plenty of time, go donate. Those of you that already donated, you got more money that you can possibly spare, go back and donate again. We're actually going to be going back for a second time, probably before this week is out. We did donate one go round, but we're probably going to go back another go round and donate again. So I just had to get those two out the way while I was still thinking about those. On that note, let's go ahead and let's talk about Fallout from tonight's WWE Raw. And remember, as we're doing this, if you enjoy our recap and review, show the ultimate support. Give this episode a thumbs up. You can share it a number of ways: Google Plus, Facebook, retweet it. As always, it's one of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. So, I liked how Raw had kicked off tonight, and I just was seeing the hype all day long on my cell phone, which was, hey, we got Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! They're all going to be making an appearance tonight on WWE Raw. Matter of fact, they're going to be kicking off Raw as it is their WWE Hall of Fame Forum panel. They're going to be discussing the ass whooping that John Cena had received at the hands of the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. So you're hearing that and you're saying to yourself, damn, that sounds pretty freaking awesome. Wonder why WWE is putting all the... Well, remember, tonight was the Emmys. Those of you that might have been under the impression football was on, as far as I know, there was no new game on tonight. I checked out ESPN. I checked out the NFL Network. There wasn't any new football game on, all right? It was just all about the Emmys or whatever. I believe that's the one that was hosted by Seth Meyers or whatever. Don't even get me started on that. That's a completely different topic for a radio edition of the RCWR show. But, so you kind of understand why they had all that crammed in like the first 20 minutes of Monday Night Raw, is because they were trying to compete with what was going on NBC. So that's why you had that segment go down to kick things off. And I must admit, I definitely was into it. For me, just to see the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels in the ring at the same time. And guess what? It's nobody's birthday. Nobody died. There's no like weird tribute thing going on. It's just some of the best guys that we've seen over the years sharing a moment in time together. No telling when it might happen again. I was like a little kid. I was just marking out. I was loving it. I was loving it. And then it actually had me go back and do a little bit of trivia. And shout out to those of you who I was interacting with on Twitter, as you all had kindly corrected me, as I had my dates off just by a couple of years. But I did pretty good for a guy that is trying to remember stuff off the break, off memory. As just think about Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan for a minute. Those of you that have been longtime WWF fans, when was the last time, other than tonight, that we had saw Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan share the same ring at the same time? Just marinate on that for a little bit. When was the last time we saw Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels share the same ring at the same time? I dare say you have to go as far back as SummerSlam 2005, when it was the what was it? The Icon versus the Legend? Is that how they dubbed that match? Damn good match, by the way. Shawn Michaels oversold the hell out of the moves that Hulk Hogan was doing in that match, by the way. And just a little bit of fun trivia for you guys that may not know it, but originally, when that match was planned about, there was supposed to be a best of three. Hogan was supposed to get the first one, Shawn was supposed to get the next one, and then they were going to do a rubber band match. But as things had went into motion, it led up to the match. Apparently the Hulkster, he said that he pretty much couldn't do another match because he was having back problems, his knee was acting up, yada, 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 all that good stuff. And a lot of people, including Shawn Michaels, keep in mind, even at that point, Shawn Michaels, he did find God and all that, but it did kind of rub him off just a little bit, to the point that he was irritated with the fact that, okay, here's Hulk Hogan, he's coming in for a payday, he's doing the whole politic thing to have himself go over. Meanwhile, at that point, Shawn was still kind of operating on a little bit of a full-time schedule back then, just a little bit. He was definitely going at it more harder than he was in later years when he really started to go on a limited run. And that's why when you go back and you look at that match, that's why Shawn Michaels was just overselling the hell out of those moves, was because he didn't like the fact that he wasn't going to get another opportunity to take on the Hulkster. And it's like at one point, I believe you see the Hulkster, he does like this wicked ass punch to Shawn Michaels, and Shawn just like, he just fell on his back and he's just flipping like a damn fish all over the place. And you just see the Hulkster just throw his hands up like, what the hell, dude? You're doing too much. What the hell? Even oversold the hell out of the big boot, all that good stuff. Leg drop, all that. He was just overselling the hell out of it. It's still a pretty good match, but because of the theatrics, the overreaction of the theatrics at that, it kind of makes that match really not be that good. But now, for those of you that didn't know, now you kind of understand why that match looked the way that it did. I just thought I'd put that little fun trivia out there for you guys. I loved the legends going back and forth. I mean, you pretty much had Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels. They're both in agreement that, hey, John Cena, he got his ass handed to him, and now he's trying to go back for a rematch? There's just no way it's going to happen. No way. Meanwhile, you've got the Hulkster, and how convenient wasn't that the Hulkster, he's in red and yellow, just like John Cena, but John Cena's got just a little bit of white going on, but the red and the yellow is dominating. So you can make your Ronald McDonald jokes, you can make your The Flash jokes, you can go with Hulk Hogan 2.0 and be like Cena Mania. You can go with whatever direction you want, but I just thought it was kind of funny that John Cena, Hulk Hogan were pretty much sharing the same freaking colors. Hulk Hogan, he's standing there, he's trying to be on the side of John Cena and say, look, Brock Lesnar got one, Cena got one. Come on now, this is like the rubber band match right here. These guys, they're going to go at it, and as far as Hulkster is concerned, he feels that John Cena is going to come out on top. Nice little touch that we saw with John Cena appearing and saying to the guys, look, with all due respect, you guys, you know, you've put in your time in the business. I respect each and every single thing you all have accomplished in the ring and everything. And I like how he went over each particular legend. Like for Shawn Michaels, it was basically kind of like prestige, honor. You know, Ric Flair, he got that experience, and he also had a couple of fun times hanging out with the Nature Boy, getting lit up and all that. And then when it got to Hulk Hogan, as far as John Cena was concerned, if it wasn't for the Hulkster, there would be no John Cena. So I kind of like those little bit of seeds that was planted right there in that exchange, in particular with John Cena acknowledging the Hulkster, as it just really kind of picks up on what me and Titus were talking about a couple of weeks ago, which is, you know, it would be a great dream match to see Hulk Hogan take on John Cena, because that's like, those guys are like, I dare say, mirror images of one another. Because I definitely remember that time where even the Hulkster had experienced hate from the crowd. People were tired of the whole say your prayers, eat your vitamins, all that. They were tired of all that crap. They wanted for change. They wanted change in a big way. And over the years, we saw how WWE, they tried to go with a different person as champion, but it seemed like what was safe and what made a lot of money, what made a lot of sense here and here, was Hulk Hogan being the man, being the torchbearer for the company and all that. And just when it seemed like the Hulkster reached his peak, what does he do? He flips the SOB around. He becomes a bad guy, and once again, he takes the wrestling industry by storm with the NWO and all that. So, you know, for me, I definitely love the way they kind of planted those little bit of early seeds right there. And we know how the Hulkster has been operating in recent interviews over the weeks, saying how he wants to be in that position where if he can have one more match, he would love to take on John Cena. And whether or not we're going to see something like that play down, honestly, nice little seeds have been planted. Seeds have been planted off and on past couple of months, ever since the Hulkster has come back into the WWE. You can go even further back to that one episode of Raw where the Hulkster had said to John Cena, hey, if you need some backup, I always got your back, Jack. So, I mean, you definitely see those seeds being planted in there. So, whether or not we're going to see a match, I know there's many of you that have your opinions on that, but I must admit, there is a part of me that would not mind seeing that match go down. So as long as the Hulkster is at 100% physically, and he can definitely go out there and he can deliver a match that he would not feel afterwards, oh man, I stunk the whole place up. I wish I wouldn't have done that match. What the hell? So very interesting because he talked about his time, I remember now, in TNA, and he talked about how that was a pretty horrific time for him to be in there and everything. And on the contrary, there was actually some really good things that he did while he was in TNA, and I don't want to just spend a couple of minutes on that, but those of you that have been paying attention to the TNA product, you've been paying attention to the WWE product, you remember Hulk Hogan's time there in TNA wrestling. There was definitely at least 1 or 2 moments, and just to get the ball rolling, I thought the street fight that he had against Sting at Bound for Glory a couple of years back, I thought that was a freaking amazing match. I mean, we saw a new Hulkster emerge during that match. I thought that was like probably hands down the best thing that he ever did in TNA, and I just think it's a little bit one-sided and just a tad bit two-faced that he's just bashing the hell out of the TNA promotion. I mean, at least give TNA a little bit of props. And look, I'm not the TNA Kool-Aid drinker or anything. I'm just able to appreciate all different sides, all unique perspectives. And, my whole thing is, look, when he needed a job the most and try to figure out how he was going to be able to make ends meet financially, have that creative freedom so that he'd be able to go out there, loan his name to whatever, a website, or open up his own store, all that stuff. I don't really think if he was in the WWE, he would have had that type of creative platform to be able to really do those things, and not to mention also take independent bookings, autograph signings, things of that nature. So TNA came to him at a really good time when he needed it. It wasn't all that bad. I mean, come on. When it's all said and done, you were getting some type of money. You know what I'm saying, guys? But that's just my take with regards to that. But awesome segment right there. I'm spending so much time talking about this segment because it pretty much just goes a little bit downhill from there. I want to welcome those of you that's checking us out right now. What we're going to do for those of you that's going to be checking out the recording for this is take a brief ad break. But when we come back, we're going to continue the discussion of tonight's WWE Raw. Lots more to talk about, as we did see a very solid main event match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. We'll talk a little bit about that. We will also talk about a very heated confrontation that had came about between Brie and Nikki Bella. Saw a lot of the social media activity as far as what you all had to say with regards to that particular segment. I'll definitely look at it from all standpoints and give you my honest take on that, both good and bad. We also have you all's interactions, get your take on what you had liked, disliked about Monday Night Raw tonight, as we're a month away from their next pay-per-view, Night of Champions. So make sure you stick around. You are checking out a all-new edition of the RCWR show. We'll be right back. And we are back. All right, we're talking Fallout from WWE Raw for August 25th, 2014. Let's continue on. Let's talk a little bit more about some key things that had happened from tonight's episode. I definitely want to talk about some of the stuff that really kind of jumped out there at me the most. Brock Lesnar speaks. Loved it. Loved it. Those of you that had watched Raw, I don't care what you say. You can say to me, Brock Lesnar sucks. Look, let it be no secret. I have been following this man since he made his WWE debut. Been a fan of his ever since. I've followed him as he made his way to go play American football. Then when he went to go play Canadian football, went on out to New Japan, came on back to the UFC. I've been following his career for a good minute now, all right? And I got to tell you, this was like one of the best controlled interviews I've seen come out of Brock Lesnar in a very long time. Probably like one of the best ones since he's been back this go round. That's how much I really enjoyed it, to the point that I really want for WWE to utilize Brock Lesnar in that type of a setting more, and actually kind of go back on what we've been talking about off and on here on the show. Even on our radio edition, I've said, look, you've got Brock Lesnar. He's doing his thing on a part-time basis. When you have him there at those WWE events, utilize that time properly. You may have him for X amount of days, but those X amount of days, you can definitely get X amount of hours out of him. And my whole argument was, when you have this man, capitalize, film as much stuff as you can with him as possible, so that you'll be able to use it constantly, have him be in rotation for these shows. All you need is to film like about 8 weeks worth, and if you need to, you can just milk a new one every other week, however you want to do it, but utilize him just like that to fill in those gaps when he's not there. And that's exactly what WWE has been doing in recent weeks, and I definitely got to give props to them. We've been saying this to the gospel for the longest, and it looks like they're finally starting to do that. Brock Lesnar speaks. I loved it. I love just that controlled setting that he was in, where it's not in the ring. We don't have to worry about hearing the stupid-ass what chants and boring and all this other stuff. We can just focus on, and it's rare that Brock Lesnar talks anyway, but you know what? When he talks, come on, let's admit, a lot of us, when we see he's getting ready to talk, we listen, because it's rare that he speaks. Heyman does all the dirty work for him on the mic. But when it counts the most, Brock Lesnar, he makes his stuff very memorable. And I just loved some of the key things that he said. I actually had took the time to jot this down for my notes here. At one point, he talked about how he did a F5 to John Cena, like off the break in like the first 90 seconds of the match. He tried to give him the opportunity to just lay there and basically give Brock Lesnar the victory. But as far as Brock Lesnar goes, in his own words, he says, what does he do? This no-give-up bull takes over, and I don't think I did him any favors afterwards. And then later on, this was the part I really loved right here. He says, a direct quote, I don't know if your dad sat with you at the edge of the bed when you were just a little boy and filled your ear with all kinds of garbage. Little Johnny, someday you're going to grow up and become a man. But someday you're going to run into a guy that's going to knock you on your ass. You're going to stand up and he's going to knock your ass down. And you're going to stand up and he's going to knock your ass down. And he's not going to let up. You're not going to get up, John Cena. It's over, my friend. I don't feel bad for you, because for the last 12 years, that's what you've been living on. And then Brock Lesnar shows up. John Cena, mark my words, Night of Champions is going to be your last night in this universe. Game over. Almost brings a tear to my eye, and then you just see this nice Chester-like grin come on the left side of Brock Lesnar's face, and you're like, man, this guy is so ice cold, but man, this guy really is a beast. I love the way that WWE Creative have been booking the hell out of Brock Lesnar. He's got to be in the best shape of his life right now. This 2014, you got to give it up. I mean, when we get ready to talk about the Slammies next year and we look back on 2014, and you want to talk about Superstar of the Year, not only should Brock Lesnar be nominated, Brock Lesnar should definitely get the award, hands down. I think it would have gone to Daniel Bryan. If he didn't get injured and all of that, he probably would still be holding on to the WWE Championship as we speak, going into the Night of Champions pay-per-view. But if it wasn't for that injury, I think just looking ahead, thinking about the Slammies, Daniel Bryan probably would have had it. I mean, just the fact that he beat two guys in one night, or actually, correction, he beat Triple H, and then he would go on to defeat, who was it, Randy Orton and Batista, to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Just the fact that he was able to do those things, you know, in one night, just insane right there. Become the champion, go on. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, we'll never really know, but I just have this spidey sense, if you will, that if he would have been able to continue past his injury, he probably would have won it hands down. Hands down. What do you guys think? Post those comments down below. Let me know what you think with regards to that. But I need to see more Brock Lesnar segments like what they had show tonight. It was very riveting. I found myself actually playing that back like 4 times. That's just how damn good it was. Even the hardcore legend himself, Mick Foley. And if you've gone to see Mick Foley during his Hardcore Legends tour, you know that he's definitely been an advocate for Brock Lesnar ending the Undertaker streak. Even he said that it was a really good segment and that it's just money when you get Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar together. Not to take anything away from Paul Heyman, he said a little bit of something, but I was more captivated, more mesmerized by the words that Brock Lesnar had to say right there. We also saw a Dean Ambrose eulogy, which was hosted or emceed, if you will, by Corporate Kane and Seth Rollins, taking their little jabs at Dean Ambrose. As we all know, Dean is currently off to film a movie for WWE Studios. The way it's looking right now, it's being said he may not come back until possibly a day or two after the Night of Champions pay-per-view, but it's also possible that he could make a little bit of a cameo at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Only time will tell. But the way it's looking right now, he's definitely going to be gone for the next several weeks. So those of you that did not know, now you know. But you know, as this eulogy was going on, I couldn't help but say to myself, well, hell, man, we got this eulogy going on. We're talking about a former Shield member, and you got a former Shield member talking about a former Shield member. Let's make this be a family affair. Where's Roman Reigns? Smart bookhead on WWE's part. You had Roman Reigns crash the scene. Love that. Great touch right there. Cade, Seth Rollins, they tried to go 2-on-1 on Roman Reigns, but Roman was able to fight them off. This would lead to a handicap match later on. Good observation by some of you all, as there's a small percentage of you all that feel like every single time you turn around, Roman Reigns is put in these weird handicap matches, and you know he comes out on top. A lot of you are a little bit frustrated with the way that he's being booked. Honestly, look at it from this standpoint. Might be a little bit frustrating to see him be in this position where he's always involved in handicap matches, but look at it another way, which is him working with more than one person. It's definitely putting him in a very good position where he's working with people such as Kane that has been around the block for a good minute now, definitely one of the last OGs from the Attitude Era. Say what you will, but you know he's definitely getting that good rub off. He's definitely learning from the best, and then you've got that good chemistry there. That's with Seth Rollins. To have Roman Reigns just slide on in there, it was actually perfect. And honestly, I have no problem with Roman Reigns being in a position where he's doing handicap matches from time to time. So as long as it's done in a way where, honestly, if you really think about it, and I don't know how many of you have actually been to a WWE live event and have seen Roman Reigns in person. He's a big-ass dude, let me tell you. I mean, the TV does not do this man justice. I mean, his shoulders, you know, just as you're seeing this little box that I'm in right now, I mean, his shoulders are pretty wide out there, and I'm not exaggerating. He's a very tall dude. I remember one of the last times I was at a live event, I was like within an arm's grab of touching him. And he's big. He is big. So you know what? Just that whole mentality that is going to take more than one person to try to beat down Roman Reigns, I actually buy that. Okay, that's a good heel tactic, honestly. I have no problem with that. Now, if it's a situation where every single week you turn around, you know, you got 2, 3 people that's fighting him, you know, they're kind of doing him like Ryback or whatever, then it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, what exactly are we doing right here? Is this really, you know, necessary? What exactly are we trying to do with Roman Reigns? I just don't see them going the right back tactic. They are switching it up. Probably after we get done talking about this, and I'm probably sure there's probably going to be some of my colleagues out there that's probably going to be noticing what you guys are noticing. Who knows? Maybe WWE, since they've been doing an awesome job, pay attention to certain things that the community is saying on the web, maybe on their respected shows like ours or whatnot. Maybe they will start switching it up. Who knows? Want to welcome those of you that's checking us out right now. If you're enjoying our recap and review, please go out of your way. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. Share this a number of ways: Google+, Facebook, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about us. Want to let you guys know in the coming weeks we are going to be picking up some new sponsors, some new affiliates that's going to be working with us. So we're definitely going to be taking a couple of more pauses to verbally acknowledge them. Right now we definitely got to give props to Audible.com. Audible.com is a really cool website. It's one of those websites where it comes to audiobooks. I mean, my God, just look at audiobooks as podcasts. You like podcasts, don't you? To some shape or form, you're checking us out. You guys are probably checking out our radio edition of the RCWR show, which is basically a podcast. So obviously there's some part of you that likes radio/podcast. If you like stuff like that, go check out audible.com. They got great books that you can hear in audio format. All right, you don't have to be concerned with sitting there. You got a damn lampshade on, and your girl's sleeping, and you got your little glasses on, and you got the freaking classical music playing while you're checking out your damn, you know, book. No, you put all that crap to the side. Go to audible.com. You can check out over 150,000 titles, whether it's wrestling, politics, romance, sci-fi, man, you name it, man. They got something for everybody that's in there. I was actually kicking back the other day listening to Terry Funk's audio book. It's like over 10 hours. Some really good stuff. Check that out. I also had checked out Hulk Hogan. That was another good one. I got Brock Lesnar's on the to-do list next. What I love about it right now is you can check it out for free using our URL, which is audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. You can check it out in the episode description. audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. You get yourself a free Audible book, so you can check out those books that I just mentioned, and you get yourself a 1-month trial of the service. You can't beat that. You've got nothing to lose, all right? So go check it out. You could thank me later. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, if you are maybe sight impaired, you can't really read like that, or maybe you can't read at all. Who knows? It's possible. There's some of you out there that might not be able to read as good as other people. Well, or maybe you can't read it at all. You know, no shame in that, all right? You can kick on back. Hell, maybe you just don't like reading a book. That's all right. Whatever your agenda is, go to Audible, check out the link. Good stuff. You won't regret it, all right? A couple of more things that we could talk about that came about from this episode of Monday Night Raw, and I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet because after I get done bringing up these little bit of points, I just want to get to you guys' comments, wrap the show up. One thing I thought was very interesting, debuting this week, you're going to see on demand, get this, over 100 hours of WCW Nitro. Yes, finally, we are getting more content added. on that WWE network. The timing of this is very good. It's coming at a time where for some that signed up for the WWE Network at launch, their subscriptions have come up for renewal, and this is definitely a very smart tactic by the WWE to try to entice people to stick around. You also have new episodes of the Monday Night War between WWF and WCW. You get to see 2 new episodes Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And I hear that more content is going to be forthcoming. I believe that also includes more ECW stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty freaking good. I mean, they're getting there. They're getting there. They're definitely listening to their audience, and they're trying to roll out new content to keep those subscriptions from those that came on board launch from leaving. Should be an interesting tale to see how many of those people from launch kind of stuck around, if you will. We should know the next quarterly report, but good stuff right there. So make sure you check that out. I'm definitely going to be checking that out this week. Honorable mentions. Swagger lost to Rusev once again. I couldn't help but ask, where was Mark Henry? And as we would find out in the main event match, Mark Henry would actually team up with his new buddy, Big Show, to go lend John Cena a hand, as John Cena was very close to defeating Bray Wyatt when Harper Rowan had interfered. Referee had no choice but to throw the match out. And it looked like it was about to be a 3-on-1 beatdown when Big Show, Mark Henry came out. That pretty much had set up a impromptu 6-man tag match, of which we did see the team of Mark Henry, Big Show, John Cena win. The whole story of Raw tonight was basically John Cena trying to find his smile again, if you will, trying to find his mojo, trying to find that spark that he needs to go into Night of Champions. And as he told the WWE legends earlier in the night, not go into Night of Champions and beat Brock Lesnar, but go into Night of Champions and beat Brock Lesnar's ass. And we saw somewhat of a watered-down, serious version of John Cena, who was trying to do these lame-ass German suplexes. They weren't really executed that well, not as well as Brock Lesnar and late Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, and other people I've seen executed very well over the years. But it was half decent, I will admit that. But what was very weird about seeing Mark Henry in that main event spot is just going back to earlier in the night and saying, well, wait a minute, if Mark Henry was here, then why didn't Mark Henry cross paths with Rusev after Rusev had beat Jack Swagger? That doesn't make sense. Now, those of you that's curious, Rusev won as a result of Jack Swagger being counted out. He definitely was working those ribs just like he did a week before and all that. We saw Bo Dallas. He made a little bit of a cameo in a backstage segment with Swagger. Basically did his whole, you lost again, you really need to believe. Well, Swagger, he definitely believed in kicking Bo Dallas' ass, as we saw Bo Dallas pick up a victory over Kofi Kingston. Swagger would come out afterwards. Did a half-ass Swagger bomb, if you will. It looks like we're going to be seeing these two guys get it on. Maybe that's going to be the Night of Champions pre-show. Who knows? We got a month to go. Maybe it might play itself out on main WWE programming. Hey, you know, I will say this. At least Bo Dallas is still in a unique position where he's getting TV time. We can't really say the same for Adam Rose. I'm sure many of you were like, where's Adam Rose? Where is this guy? One minute he was doing his thing. He was wrestling. Had some great backstage skits going on. Then he got delegated to being the product man. Basically, he should have had a big-ass sign on his forehead and said, your ad here. We're ones to talk, by the way, because we do ads ourselves. But, I mean, hell, man, at least we could say that, you know, we're not getting in the ring and wrestling. I mean, we've just seen this demotion, if you will, come about with Adam Rose, it's gotten almost right down to the point where you like have to check out NXT now just to see if Adam Rose is going to be making any type of an appearance. Very interesting what's going on right there with Rose, but at least we can take relish in the fact that we still got Bo Dallas on the roster. And I know some of you guys probably don't really like the guy, but I mean, he's got one of those type of characters that just really rubs you the wrong way. You're irritated. You don't want to see him on the screen. He just has this creepy little bastard look. And that's good that he gets under the skin. It's good if you don't like him. That means he's kind of doing his job right. Any reaction is better than no reaction. He also reminds me a little bit of Simon Dean / Rico. He's got that. That's why I'm able to tolerate him so much, because every time I see him, he just kind of reminds me of those guys just combined. Great stuff right there. What else can we talk about? Paige. She defeated Natalya. We were about to see a hot lesbian action segment per Eric Bischoff. You guys remember HLA? No, it didn't quite happen, but we were close to it, man. We were damn close to it. We actually saw AJ get in the ring, and she had told Paige how she wanted to be friends, that she genuinely, sincerely meant it, that she wanted to be friends. And we actually saw AJ hug Paige. Paige just had this weird look on her face like, you, what the hell? And it got even more interesting as we saw AJ take the hand of Paige and kiss it, kind of like my lady. It was kind of interesting. What was, I would have preferred it, if it would have been a lick on the hand. I think that would have been a little bit better, but maybe we can work our way to that hot lesbian action segment. Speaking of hot lesbian action, the Bella Twins, wow. A little speechless, man. A little hard to watch. I saw little blemishes of hope, and okay, that was kind of nice towards the end. Jerry Lawler put in the middle. He's basically the moderator. He's the moderator, the mediator. He's trying to have these two sisters squash whatever beef they've had going on and come together as family again. It didn't quite work out so well. We saw these sisters just struggle for the first couple of minutes, but eventually we saw Nikki kind of shine just a little bit. The envelope was definitely pushed tonight for this sibling feud, as Nikki, I can't remember word for word, but she basically had said to Brie, the sonogram that you mentioned that the two of us were in as we both were holding hands, and honestly, I think what that was really about is you just trying to push me out the way so you could get out first, because your agenda has always been you first. It's never been about me. You never cared about me. Really pushed the envelope on her sister, talking about how while Brie had quit, was at home with her husband, watching WWE programming on TV. Basically, she was bearing witness to her getting humiliated on a week-to-week basis, being put in ridiculous handicap matches, being degraded, no sister in sight to help her. And we saw a very mean streak, a serious mean streak, come out of Nikki, as she said, as far as she's concerned, she has no sister. They're dead. There is no relationship among them. And Brie just really taken back by this, very emotional. She was sitting in the chair, crying her little heart out, or trying to pretend to cry. We saw Nikki afterwards just push Brie off the chair and took her shoes off and wham, threw it at her and all that good stuff. I mean, look, I love a good riveting story. I definitely, I'd be a liar if I said that I'm not a fan of women's wrestling, that I'm not a fan of women performers in the ring. I am a fan of that. I do care a great deal about quality, but at the same time, when I see that there is potential there, and that if more time and energy is put to perfect whatever it is that I'm seeing right then and there, then you know what, eventually, okay, yeah, if they put in enough time and dedication, maybe they can get to that point where all the fans can find it very tolerable. And say what you will about this segment tonight. Some of you may say the segment was the worst segment of all time for this episode of Raw. Some of you may say it was the worst segment that you saw this week. I will admit it definitely had a soap opera vibe to it. At the same time, there was realism in it. I mean, unless you have a brother, a sister, a twin, then you can't really appreciate that story that we saw come about tonight. I mean, this is something that legitimately happens in every single household. Whether it's an older brother, a younger brother, whatever. There's always that one sibling that feels that the younger or the older or the other twin, they had got more of a special treatment, than they did. They never did really get a fair shot. Mommy and daddy loves them more. They've had all the opportunities in the world, while they were doing what they needed to do. It kind of seemed like they were getting the crueler hand. It seemed like they were getting more discipline, things of that nature. It definitely had a touch of realism to it. I will say this, both Bellas, they have been coming along. It's still rough around the edges. Some people may find that laughable and say, Lee, it's damn rough. It's so rough. It's severely rough. But, I've seen the potential. I can't help but treat what I saw tonight, what I've been seeing with these two girls over the course of the past several weeks, and compare it to how Dixie Carter had started off in TNA. I mean, she started off as this person that just really should not have been on TV whatsoever. And now she's just at this point, she's damn sure not a Vince or a Stephanie McMahon, but in her own right, she's definitely become a pretty decent heel TV character. And I feel that with the Bellas, as long as more time is put into them, and most importantly, the Bellas, and that is the one thing I will say about the Bellas, unlike some of the other divas I've seen over the years, one thing I can say about the Bellas is that from what I've seen of their work over the years, they definitely continue to put in the time, the energy. There is a part of them I can tell that definitely cares about how they go out there and they perform, just in general. And I think that they're getting there. Do they need more work? Yes. Should the segment that they had tonight been cropped down just a little bit? Yeah. At the same time, that's why you had Jerry Lawler there. I mean, I love the fact that Nikki kind of got to the crowd a little bit. She got on all the males for talking about how they wish sexually that her and her sister were doing something sexual to each other, and maybe they could be part of that nice little three-way or whatever. I love Nikki taking jabs at that, because, I mean, come on. How many guys haven't jumped out there and been like, me personally, I just, that's disgusting to me. I'd rather have it be two women not related to each other if I had to do a three-way than, keeping it in the family. That's just nasty to me. But that little jab that she did to the jab that she took at Jerry Lawler, as Jerry Lawler tried to step in, and she's like, mind your business, old man, get out of here. Great little touches that we saw right there. And it really, I love the fact that Stephanie was not involved in this. It was almost kind of like, let's see how these two sisters do on their own, because if they can do it, great. If not, obviously there is something there with the certain powers that be and creative that just see something in these girls that just want to make it continue. And obviously, honestly, I have no problem with this, because at least you can say WWE is trying to cater to all types of audiences. They're trying to cater to the kids. They're trying to cater to the teens. They're trying to cater to the adults. They're trying to cater to the men. They're trying to cater to the women. So I mean, they're trying to do a little bit of something for everybody, you know. But that's my take on that. I am a little bit curious what you all have to say. You probably might not have kind words for the segment tonight, but you know what? When it's all said and done, it's okay to disagree. Other quick honorable mentions, we had saw the Usos successfully retain their tag belts, although it was by countout, as one of the Usos' legs was a little bit messed up. We saw Goldust and Stardust. It was those guys that took on the Usos. They were pretty upset that the match ended the way that they did. They felt that the Usos were trying to get out of the match, that they were maybe in fear that they were going to lose the belts. Stardust, Goldust, they asked for a rematch right there on the spot. Usos didn't really kind of come off like they wanted to give it to them because one of them was injured. And then we saw Stardust and Goldust attack the Usos. And it's so interesting because up to this point, we're looking at the team of Star Goldust, or whatever the hell. We got to figure out a cool name to call these guys too, man. For now, I'm just going to continue to call them the Rhodes Brothers. But it's kind of interesting leading up to this because on the one hand, when we saw them coming out, they were getting these great little reactions from the crowd. They seemed to be crowd favorites. They had their respected audience, and they kind of came off a little definitely babyface, but now that we've seen them attack the Usos, we're kind of led to the impression, okay, well, they're now being built as heels to be fed to the Usos? Is that the plan? I just don't like how this kind of really came off because it's definitely sending mixed signals. So, like what? Is this team of Golden Star? Maybe that's the name we should call them. Golden Star. I think that might work. Or Golden Stars. Golden Stars. What do you think of that? I think that's a good tag team name right there. But I'm not really sure what to make of these guys now. I really am not. Man, the way it's looking right now, these teams are probably going to be colliding at Night of Champions for the tag titles. At least that's the way it's kind of looking right now. Interesting tidbit that was said on Raw tonight. The Usos have now held the tag titles for 175 days. They are in 5th place right now. I wish they would have pushed the envelope a little bit more and told you guys who the other 4 were. In case you guys might not know, here's some fun trivia for you guys. I did some homework for you guys tonight. I came prepared, man. Check this out. At number 4, Team Hell Knows Kane, Daniel Bryan, 245 days under their belt as tag champions. John Morrison and The Miz with 250. At number 2, the Colognes with 280. And at number 1, Paul London and the Brian Kendrick with 331. Now, with regards to the tag belts, we are specifically only talking about the WWE tag titles, which was first activated in 2002, not to be confused with the WWE World Tag titles, which was established in 1971. Make sure you check out our radio edition of the RCWR show, as we'll actually tell you guys who the top 5 are for that respected tag team belts right there. But yeah, nice little trivia for you guys to know. If you need that list one more time, Paul London, Brian Kendrick, 331. The Colognes, Primo and Epico, 280. John Morrison, The Miz, 250. Team Hell No, 245. And at 5th place, the Usos at 175. I think on that note, I think we covered. Did we cover? No. Let's see. We did talk about Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns, he did pick up the win in that handicap match against Seth Rollins. Kane. They almost tried to do him in similar fashion to Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns was able to fight them off. However, I'm not sure how the finish was with regards to that match, though. But I have no complaints with the way that they've been booking Roman Reigns, despite what some of you are saying, as you all are kind of noticing a little weird pattern that's going on there. Los Matadors, they defeated the newly formed team of Slater Gator, Heath Slater, Titus O'Neil, Ora, Ora, Ora. And that's pretty much it. I mean, overall tonight, I mean, this was definitely one of those Raws where it felt a little bit like, okay, well, what are we going to do for a show opener? Well, let's cram all these damn legends in here, and then somewhere we can put in Brock Lesnar, and, well, let's let the girls go out and do their little thing or whatever. It just kind of felt like after that first segment, it just kind of went a little bit down. The crowd definitely did not help. The crowd really did not feel like they were into it. They felt predominantly quiet for most of the 3 hours. You know, I had to remind myself that this was happening in front of a live crowd. They definitely did not really represent. I can't even remember where the hell Raw was tonight. Because normally when the crowd's on point, I remember the city and the state, but the fact that they were so quiet, I couldn't even remember for the love of me where they were tonight. But 6 out of 10 for me. If I had to pick out the high points of the night, I would definitely have to go with that first segment. I definitely loved the WWE Legends little panel form there. That was on point. Oh, forgive me. Cesaro. That was actually a good match. Cesaro had defeated Rob Van Dam to become the new #1 contender to take on Sheamus for the United States Championship. I would not be celebrating just yet. That is a United States Championship that has been in a position where, you know, it's like, great, you're the United States Champion. And then it's like, we can't recall the last time the championship has been defended. Did a really great excerpt from last week talking about how they need to operate the U.S. and the IC titles. If you guys missed it, I'll probably try to see if we can make it be an excerpt by itself that you guys can check out later on in the week. But yeah, I mean, other than that first segment with the Legends, Cesaro versus RVD was actually a good match. I definitely got to give it up to Natalya and Paige. I definitely got to give it up to those girls. Let's see, who else can I give it up to? I can definitely give it up to... You know, I thought that Roman Reigns in that handicap match, I thought that was pretty solid. And I guess the Usos can kind of get an honorable mention, too. I mean, decent matches. I just wish a little bit more time was maybe put into some of them rather than, I don't know, it just really felt kind of dragon-like. I don't know. That's just me tonight. And I've got full of energy over here at my end, so it's not like maybe I need a 5 hour to have appreciated what we got tonight. It definitely, I don't know. That's all I got to say with regards to that. Let's do this. Let's take another ad break. Those of you that's going to be checking out the recording, you'll see one more. We'll come on back. We're definitely going to get to you guys' reactions, see what you guys had thought about Raw. Also open up our Q&A, so if you got some random questions you want to ask me while I'm still here live on the air with you guys, go ahead, get it in there now. All right? And we'll come on back. We'll give you guys some quick programming notes as we're going to be gearing up for the Labor Day holiday weekend. So stick around. You're checking out the RCWR show live. And we are back. All right. It is time. It is time to see what's going on with some of these comments we got coming in from you guys. I want to give you guys a quick programming note. So Tuesday night, which is like right now, August 26th, we got the radio edition of the RCWR show, which you can check out live on Spreaker. 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to hook you guys up with the very latest in wrestling headlines. RCWR show Spotlight on TNA Wrestling, getting a new deal or rather not a new deal, but a proposal coming from a unlikely network that just came so left field. We'll give you the details on that. I'll definitely give you my take on whether or not this is a deal that TNA Wrestling should take. We will also dive into the very latest in entertainment headlines. We got some music headlines. We are just going all over the place. We even got a really cool kick-ass review, which you'll hear first for Kayfabe Commentaries, Breaking Kayfabe with Troy, Shane Douglas, Martin. You definitely want to make sure you join us for that. Some good stuff. And Wednesday, we will be doing a new Impact Showdown. Remember, because there were actually those of you that were not aware, you were actually looking for us on Thursday. Remember, Impact Showdown now airs here on YouTube at 11 p.m. Eastern Wednesdays, as soon as Impact Wrestling goes off the air on Spike TV. At Spike TV, TNA, they made a new deal with regards to TNA switching to new nights, not a new contract. No, they still don't have that. That's still ongoing. But Impact Wrestling has moved to Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out, all right? And the way it's looking right now, we've got the Labor Day holiday that's pretty much really going to be affecting probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, definitely that Monday. I'm not really sure if we're going to do a weekend edition. I had said that the weekend edition was coming back, but when I really think about it, I don't know how many of you might be going out of town. Maybe you might not be accessing us for that weekend. I'm not really sure if we're going to do a weekend edition. If you guys would like a weekend edition of the RCWR show, which you can catch Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, then let me know, and depending on the number of comments that I see, yay or nay, that'll kind of help me figure out if we're going to do a show or not. But at the same time, also the amount of things that come about this week, that will also help me figure out if we're going to do it for you guys or not. All right, so on that note, let's get to you guys' comments. Let's see what y'all had to say with regards to Raw. And as I'm pulling up the comments, if you've been enjoying our recap and review, make sure you go out of your way, give this a thumbs up, share it a number of ways. Best way to spread the good word about our content, man. All right, let's see what you guys have to say here. Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? That was like so an afterthought. We did see Miz and Sandow. Who was it that Sandow took on? He was dressed up like Miz too. I thought that was kind of cool. He actually made that look better than the Miz too. I must have let me check here. Yeah, I actually don't remember who Sandow was taking on. Somebody post in the comments there and let me know the results of that match. And we already told you where Titus is. Rewind. That's the best part I like about this. If you guys are watching us live right now, you can actually rewind it back. And we actually told you in like the first 3 minutes what happened with Titus. All right? It's called the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. I know you guys love Titus, and I'm glad you guys are showing this appreciation for Titus, but there's no Titus this week. Titus will be back next week. I love Titus myself, by the way. That's my boy. Let's see here. But Joseph, I wish Damien Mizdow would have beaten Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. To put him into the title picture after the months of stupid characters he's been forced to play. Oh, well, yeah, it was Dolph Ziggler taking on Damien Sandow. Dolph Ziggler picking up the win. That was actually a pretty solid matchup right there. Zach, awful Raw, waste of 3 hours, other garbage. Wyatt continues to get buried by Cena. All Y2J's work went down the drain, 1 out of 10. No good matches, one good segment with the Brock interview. Just garbage. Weston Lee, considering that Raw has been feeling stale, do you think they should call up someone from NXT? and have a good night. They are. I mean, we got Adrian Neville that's going to be coming up very soon. Sasha Banks, Charlotte, no doubt they're going to be coming up the main roster soon. We've got Prince Devitt. We've got there's one other name that I can't think of right now. They had recently Kevin Steen. You got him. I mean, there's a Sami Zayn. My God, it's just a matter of trying to make space on main WWE programming so that they can fit those guys in there. Maybe we should kind of put a RCWR show spotlight, uh, if not tomorrow night, maybe next week, and tackle who needs to be removed from the main roster so that these other characters that I'm talking about, these other wrestlers, can come up. Eric, that segment with Reigns coming down for the eulogy might have really meant something if he didn't fully abandon Ambrose less than 7 days after the end of the Shield. Him being booked in that segment was fully hypocritical in my eyes. Magna Carta. With Roman Reigns, I am very worried the fans may turn on him early if they go overboard with his push too quickly. I mean, between now and the Royal Rumble, I mean, the way things are looking right now, if WWE does this right, this guy isn't going to be touching the championship belt if he continues to show evolution and the fans continue to give him that support. Honestly, this guy's going to be skyrocketing big time. He is going to be skyrocketing big time. I don't feel that Roman Reigns is going to be booked in a way like Goldberg. I don't want you guys kind of getting that impression. At some point, he's definitely going to be losing. It's going to be some shady crap that's going to be going down with him losing as the Roman Empire is continuing to be in a evolution, if you will, in its original building phase. But honestly, I mean, we're talking about, my God, it's August right now, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. We're like 8 months away from WrestleMania, man. 8 months is not that quick to push somebody. I think what would be a push too early is if we go to Night of Champions, or if we go to Survivor Series in November afterwards, and Roman Reigns becomes the new WWE champion. I think that would be definitely premature. It'd be a bit too soon. But, I mean, the way things are looking right now, and you know what? Things can change between now and 8 months down the road. But this whole thing about, him getting pushed too quickly, on the contrary, the current push that he's getting right now, it's a nice, good build, same way that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had got built. I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to be like how it was back in, the 80s, the early 90s, mid 90s, and you just basically had somebody chasing after the champion for a whole year or whatever, and then they finally get their opportunity to get a hold of that champion. First go round, they don't get the job done. Second go round, they come very close, but controversy happens. Third go round, they finally get the belt. And unfortunately, that's just not happening in today's wrestling. I actually wish it would kind of go back to that point. I wish it would actually go back to the days where a heel would hang on to the belt for a long, long period of time, and then we're put in a position where a babyface keeps feuding with that top heel, with that top champion heel at that, which culminates in them meeting up a couple of times for the belt. And honestly, that's why I'm hoping that Brock Lesnar will continue to hold on to that championship belt going into next year, because Roman Reigns would definitely be in a very unique situation there, and fighting a top guy like a Brock Lesnar. I mean, I can just imagine those guys really just saying to one another, "Let loose, man. Go physical. I can take it. Give me your best shot." When them two guys collide, if it does go that route, that's going to be one intense matchup right there. Very intense matchup. Then again, it could be Cena versus Roman Reigns. A lot can happen over the course of these next 8 months, man. Let's see. David, tonight's episode of Raw wasn't bad, but wasn't that great either. The thing that bothered me the most was the number one contender match between Cesaro and RVD. The way it played out didn't come across as a number one contenders match. Mr. Monday Night typically wouldn't go down that easy. That's exactly what I'm talking about, putting in more time with some of these matches. Jamie, Raw was not bad tonight. Could have been way better. Love seeing the Hall of Famers. I absolutely love Brock Lesnar's promo tonight. He completely sold Night of Champions. And I must say, Brock Lesnar does not need Paul Heyman. No disrespect to the legend. I didn't like the Nikki Bella's comments to her sister. She went way too far, especially saying, "You are dead to me." Yeah. Main event was good. Question: can a wrestler get over a crowd on wrestling skills alone? No promo skills at all? Well, no promo skills at all. I'm going to mention a very controversial name. Chris Benoit was able to go over with the fans. And he was bland on the microphone. Wrestling skills, Chris Benoit, I got to go with him again. Kurt Angle, definitely not known for his promos. Very dry promos at that. Wrestling skill alone. He ended up having a couple of catchphrases and all that going on. I won't say he was a colorful character, but he definitely had a catchphrase or two that was going on, courtesy of other stars that chastised them with those catchphrases. Let's see what else we got here. Do I think the Wyatt family is officially buried? I'll come back to that one. Anthony, after all the work Jericho did to help Wyatt, what does WWE do? They made Wyatt look super weak against Cena. Lame. I must admit, and I don't want to go into overtime, it does trouble me that you had this unique situation where Bray Wyatt first crossed paths with Chris Jericho at not this past pay-per-view, but at the one before, which I think was Battleground. Jericho wins that one. You come to SummerSlam, Bray Wyatt wins this one. And you're saying to yourself, okay, rubber band match, right? But instead, we just get a freaking rematch between, a WrestleMania rematch at that, between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt, and the Wyatt family, they kind of get... But then, the argument could be made, well, honestly, no matter how you cut it, if you're going to single out people, Bray Wyatt did get buried. If you're going to look, or did he? Did he get buried? I mean, let's be for real. The roster's pretty thin right now. You don't really have that many people that's on there that can really fill in those necessary spots, where if you're trying to sell the image, you're trying to sell the story of a John Cena trying to get his swagger back, trying to get that mojo that he needs going into this match against Brock Lesnar for the belt again, maybe they could have done it a little differently, guys. Maybe it could have been Miz taking on John Cena in the main event match, and maybe the commentators could have dubbed that as a WrestleMania rematch. Maybe they could have went in that direction, and then that way they could have done some pretty good build-up for these two guys colliding. Maybe they could have went in that direction. Would have made a little bit of sense the way they would have booked it right. Why it needed to be Bray Wyatt is a very good question. I am kind of getting the impression that the powers that be aren't really sure what to kind of do with Bray Wyatt. They're not really sure what to do with Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. I mean, at this point, the way it's looking, this year may just finish up with the Wyatt family putting folks over, and then 2015 is maybe going to be their year where they start taking in all the belts and all that other good stuff. It's very well possible, guys. It's very well possible. A lot of you guys are pretty much saying the same thing. Worst Raw tonight. Let's read a couple of more from you guys. Hellbound. This is one of the worst Raws I can remember. After the work Jericho did to Bray Wyatt on his feet was completely negated by John Cena, which was stupid. The whole Slater Gator thing is completely retarded. I'm not saying make Titus O'Neil the king of the mixed card, but the man is entertaining, and it would have been acceptable to have him in Xavier Woods' faction, which should still exist. The worst part is that there was no Dean Ambrose. Granted, I like the segment with Reigns and Rollins. Ambrose is the most entertaining wrestler on the roster. Where was Randy Orton, and whatever happened to the Henry versus Rusev angle? A lot of stuff that we mentioned there, man. A lot of stuff there. I'm skipping that. Chris. You just missed. Oh, no, you're letting the person know what they had missed. That's fine. Eric. This week's episode was brutal. Man, after last week's, I was ready to at least watch a watchable show and had some interesting questions I wanted to drop off. But you know what? I am simply not in the mood tonight. I have just one question tonight. Why Wyatt? Was the whole thing with Jericho trying to bring Wyatt back from the brink just for this? What was the point? Why is Cena no-selling a beating from a Lesnar match? Again, I am disgusted, totally disgusted. That Bella segment should have been on Superstars. That's a damn good point. Or main event. That opening segment was simply uncomfortable to watch. It is truly sad when Damian Mizdow is the highlight of an episode of Raw. Well, the Dustbusters heel turn was kind of fun. A lot of you all are saying the same thing with regards to Raw tonight, man. Very interesting comments coming in from you guys. We'll refresh this one more time. We'll see if you guys got anything new that you're saying here. All right, so that's pretty. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we can definitely end it on that note. I mean, there's more comments, but you all are pretty much saying the same thing. I don't really see a unique question there. What do you think about the WCW matchup between Rey Mysterio Jr. and Dean Malenko? I'm not going to spend 5 minutes talking about it, but I will say this. Anybody that has not had the opportunity to watch Rey Mysterio Jr. and Dean Malenko get it on some damn good technical matches, go check it out when you guys get an opportunity. But that was actually probably one of the best highlights, one of a few, one of many that had came from WCW. I'm definitely going to be looking for some classic Rey Mysterio Jr. matches once I'm able to access Monday Night Nitro on the WWE Network. That's going to be pretty freaking awesome. All right, so we're going to go on ahead. We're going to shut this bad boy down. One more time, I want to thank you guys for staying up late with us. Remember, we got the radio edition of the RCWR show. Y'all will be able to catch that this Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. And one more time, man, show some love. Go check out the Kayfabe Commentaries link that's in the comment section. I'm going to put it in the episode description in a little bit so you guys can see yours truly. I'm on the website. You can see me. As I said, I'll be making a cameo with a question or two for Brodus Clay. Should be interesting to see and hear his answers to that. And if you haven't already, make sure you jump out there and donate to Kamala's Kickstarter. All right. And that is going to do it for all the very latest. Be kind, rewind. We got great episodes for you all to check out on the downloads. All the links is in the episode description. Feel free to submit a rating and or a review. You could do it on iTunes, Stitcher, all the links you need. Go check it out right down below. And that is going to do it on behalf of all you guys. Thank you all for watching. We'll do this again in just a little bit. Till then, be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next go round. Everybody, take care.